Shalom. This is your brother Kassad out of Great Millstone, Houston. And before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and rule well. I want to give peace and blessings to the Akiyom, put on as the elite, striving for perfection in that crown of righteousness by being obedient to what's written inside these scriptures. Shalom. All right. Today's lesson, I wanted to go into this documentary that I've been watching, going into War Lies, and how the Edomites, who are the self-proclaimed whites ruling this world in wickedness, vehemently pumping pollutions and wickedness throughout the whole entire world. But through lies have they started all these wars, man. There's documentary because there's a huge track record of evidence. That's part of the reason why the scripture says, man, he will not be able to hide himself, right? These things are all being made known, okay? And in the times in which we're living in, man, the truth about who this self-proclaimed white man is being made known. He's being found out as the Edomite, and the person who's the Lord has indignation forever, right? But he has started all these wars through greed, through having this unsatisfaction of things that he has acquired. He wants more. He has to be the ruler of all things, man. And this is MO. He wants complete control and domination ultimately. And this is why he's coming down with the RFID chip, the mark of the BEAST, man. BEAST. All right. He's coming down with that, and he wants to implement that inside of you, put that implanted inside of you so that you can be in total control and disconnect you from your power ultimately. This system, this kingdom in which we're living inside of, the Edomite kingdom, is built off of lies, man. Right? He's exalted all these lies. But going into this documentary is going into how he started all these wars, man, off of lies. Their tongue, the scriptures talks about, I'll make their tongue to fall on themselves. Okay, let me grab that before I get started. Right. He's making their own tongues to fall on themselves, man. This is Psalm 64 and 8. Right? Let's go ahead to the point. Psalm 64 and 8, for time's sake. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of Yahweh, for they shall wisely consider of his doing, man. Ultimately, man, because the way he's ruled and what he was created for, he is fit for destruction. All right. He is leading, towards destruction. He's on a path that he cannot get off of. Just utter destruction is what was getting ready to happen, man. I'm going to play a little bit of this clip, and prayerfully this to be edifying unto the body.
American intelligence has been monitoring Iraq and has found nothing.
We spend billions, literally billions of dollars a year with what we call national technical means, which everyone knows are satellites. And they not only take images, but they have all kinds of other sensor data on that thing, okay? And guess what? Not one WMD site was found in Iraq since about 1991.
The giant of electronic espionage, the NSA, the National Security Agency, remains empty-handed. William Binney, former technical director at the NSA, was among...
Right? So, it's showing that, man, he knows what the hell is going on in all these countries. He knows what the hell people got. He understands what happened. He just got to fabricate a lie, fabricate an excuse to want to go stomping inside of somebody's country, man, to implement or say that we got to in place democracy, this so-called democracy, which is only hypocrisy is what they want to, inflate. They want to rob these lands, these countries of their wealth, of their ways, their customs and everything, so they can implement their ways and their customs, They can be enslaved in servitude to the Edomite. You know, this is what he thinks. He thinks he can take Jacob's blessing and rule the entire earth, man. And the Lord did not give him that blessing, to be able to rule the entire earth like that and forever. And, he's gave it to him for a short time, but with the sword is how he will be ruling it. So, man, he's doing that.
Those scrutinizing Iraq.
There was no information collected by NSA that indicated that he continued his weapons of mass destruction program, or even that he had weapons of mass destruction.
This is no surprise. Saddam Hussein's arsenal had been destroyed after the Gulf War.
I looked down. Just something I noticed. I was looking at these comments, man. These first 3 comments was kind of, like, damn, right on the money. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first one. It says that the George W. Bush administration intentionally, someone had left a comment, said intentionally deceived the American people and the rest of the world, by the way, in order to justify the Iraq war, using a wealth of different sources. War of Lies investigates the motives and pretexts of the administration of the former President George W. Bush for going to war in Iraq and after the 9 you-know-what, right? And the second comment I seen says, the American people cheered like sports fans while Iraq was destroyed, in Syria and Afghanistan and Yemen and etc. He says, I'm a Vietnam vet. It was also proven that the Gulf of Tonkin incident that got us into that war was a lie. Americans have very short memories, man. And this is what you're seeing on the day-to-day. All right, these people that have a very small memory span. And this is why Esau Edom can constantly hit them with the same shit. These people are not following the ball. It's a game that some street vendors play, and it's back in the day that they have a ball and 3 cups, and that they'll move the ball around with the 3 cups, and you have to guess what cup that ball was up under. American people cannot play that game. They have no attention span to do that. They have no real brain function, and it's getting worse and worse through the pollution, the drugs that they're putting inside these foods, the drugs that they're putting inside of drugs these days. They're putting drugs in drugs, so, and it's dumbing the hell out of these people, man, so they can do whatever the fuck they want to do to them. It says, continuing on in this, it says, Americans have very short memories. We will never learn. The USA's endless war democracy tour truly began with North Korea in 1950s, Guatemala in 1954, and has never stopped. Consider reading or listening to How to Hide an Empire, man. I heard about this book. It's a good book by Daniel, Immerwahr, man. And, this is for learning purposes, just bringing out how all these wars start with lies, man.
Before 9/11, Americans
entering into a time that they're getting ready to implement the draft in a lot of these countries because people aren't willing to fight for these wars, these bullshit endless wars again, anymore. They don't want to sign up to fight and go put it all on the line. So while I'm out here on the line giving my life, putting it all back home, you're raping, beating, and killing, molesting my family, And this has been the same thing all throughout history. Even with the so-called Buffalo Soldiers that joined up with the army out here. They thought they was doing something good, trying to break the barriers, and try to, prove that, they're mighty men and they can go out, and do what the so-called white man is doing and everything. Not knowing that while they were out west or away from their families are back home getting raped and hung from trees and everything, man. Getting subjugated or subjected to abuse and racism, While they were chasing, doing the devil's biddings, because ultimately the white man, the self-proclaimed white man, is the devil the Bible speaks of. or they were doing the devil's bidding by chasing Gad, Reuben off their land and everything, or Gad off their land and everything. They were the Edomites were back home having their way with their families, man. Right? So it was all about lies at the end of the day. Let's get some of that going into these lies that they just, how they handle business, man. All right, they operate off of what a thing is called double speak, okay? Double talk. I mean, this double talk is a language that appears to be earnest and meaningful, but in fact is a mixture of sense and nonsense. Okay? It's inflated, involved, and often deliberately ambiguous language. Okay? So these are double talk or double talkers. When they speak, they speak out of both sides of their mouths. Right? This is how they are. All right, let's get some precepts. And we'll jump back into that video, Lord willing. This is, let's start here at Proverbs 12 and 19. It says, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment, man. The lips of truth are the men of the Lord. The Lord is speaking by the mouthpiece, which are the lips of his prophets, man. They are out on the highways and byways profaning this message, telling these people and declaring their ways to their face, saying that, man, these ways that in which you've been operating in are destructive. All right, you are built off of lies and everything. It's a house of cards, they call it, man. So once you pull a card, once you correct a lie, the system or the house of cards starts to collapse. And this is what you see happening, man. You're being called on everything across the board, so that house cannot stand anymore, man. But the righteous, the truthful, facts of the matter, it's going to be established forever, right? Truth will be established forever. This kingdom which is coming is going to be ruled in righteousness, which is in truth. All right. This is Proverbs 19. This is Proverbs 12 and 20. It says, deceit in the heart of them that imagine evil. Let's start back at 19. It says, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. It says, deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy. Okay? So deceit and that lying tongue is only for a moment, but deceit in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy. We're gonna have joy. And these individuals out here, Edomites, are only operating in deceit. This is how they obtained everything. Lying and using that sword, saying that we have democracy while they're ready to war is in their heart. Okay? It says, there shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. It says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. It says, a prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness. And this is what you see is a total separation of Edomites and these Israelites, and even inside the Israelites, there's a separation of 2/3, those who are walking out here in darkness and those who are walking out here in the light. So a remnant of Israel are going to be operating in righteousness. Okay, they're going to be operating right. Okay, let's jump back into this video. Well, that's enough on the video. Let's go ahead, because basically it's just going into how all these lies was put up to make them go into these wars and fight, man. All right, they use that propaganda, and this is what you see happening with the Ukraine, and the Russia conflict over there, and all these other conflicts all around the world. They gotta demonize certain individuals so that you can be like, yeah, man, we need to go do something about this shit. When in actuality, man, you need to stay the fuck up out of it. You need to be putting your trust in the Lord and knowing that all these things were already orchestrated and planned out since the beginning of the time in which we in. So I'm gonna go ahead. I seen this. Let's get this propaganda. What they use is what they're using. It says these posters emphasize the risk of involved. Let's see. War propaganda. All right. It says, let's see. Let's get this point. All right. Let's see. Wartime propaganda. All right, and this is once again for teaching purposes. It says propaganda is information that is spread to promote a particular idea or cause. During the Second War, Britain and her allies fought against Germany and Axis powers in a war which took place on land, sea, and air. Both sides made use of propaganda to try and win support from other countries. Britain was keen to have the help of the colonies she controlled within her empire at the time, including those in West Africa, and used propaganda leaflets like these to try and gain their support. And this is what they're doing. They're out here trying to gain support for their bullshit, and the world's not buying it. You know, there's these so-called American people, these Babylonians, are either they don't give a shit or they're not buying the shit. They're like, nah, we not finna go give you no more money to go to that fucking war. You didn't try to, use your propaganda to tell us that we need to stop this, that, and the third, but, you haven't given any accountability for any of these lies that were used to start all the rest of these wars. You ain't did shit. You just on a warpath, a nonstop warpath, and you just expecting somebody else to pay the toll for. And it's just not going to happen, man. All right. And propaganda is the branch of public relations devoted to manipulating people's attitude towards a war or war in general, rather than engaging in open dialogue, man. It's actually a real office, inside the military or the government that sit down and try to, use ways. Let's figure out some ways to make these people hate this other country so we can go into this war. And they see that this propaganda is not working. All right, propaganda at wartime must seek to demonize enemy morale. All right, and it goes deep into it. They got a whole office, a whole section of the government that is fixed on just lying. Just making up lies to control the masses of people. And the men of the Lord out here to show that there's truth, and the truth is going to be shining out, man. Let's jump back into this Proverbs 12, and let's start here at. Let's go ahead and move on to this next precept in Job 20:4. And this is in the NLT. It says, "Don't you realize that from the beginning of time, ever since people were first placed on the earth, the triumph of the wicked has been short-lived?" Okay? And the joy of the godless has been only temporary. This rulership is only temporary. You're ruling with the sword, with violence and deceit. You're the wicked. All right? That classifies you as being the wicked, man. You're not ruling with the truth, the rod iron of these scriptures, the testimonies of Yahweh Shah. You're not ruling with the law, statutes, and commandments. You're ruling with lies, your own vain opinion. You're ruling with violence, man, weapons of war and everything. These scriptures are our weapons of war. Okay? And soon, when this new kingdom is implemented on earth, when Yahweh comes back and crashes this current society, this current kingdom, all right, this next kingdom is going to be ruled with these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And we'll be dashing to pieces anyone who does not take up these laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. Jump back in Job 20:6. It says, though the pride of the godless reaches to heavens, man, the profane. Esau Edom is that profane individual, the self-proclaimed white. It says, though the pride of the godless reaches to heavens. Okay, all his sin, his iniquity. All right, it says, and their heads touch the clouds, yet they will vanish forever. It says, thrown away like their own dung. Those who knew them will ask, where are they? They will fade like a dream and not be found. They will vanish like a vision in the night, man. And the man of the Lord cannot wait for these things to happen. Can't wait until Esau Edom is fucking gone. Okay? And the Lord is holding this man accountable for all his crimes against humanity, because ultimately it's just crimes against humanity. And Esau Edom is not fit to do the time for the crimes that he's committed. Right? He's always in the same spirit that was in Cain is in Esau Edom. When it's time for him to pay for that crime of slaying his brother Abel, he says that crime is the judgment is too much for me to bear. He can't bear what's coming down the pipe. It's a burden. It's something that he has to handle. He has to undergo. It's pending judgment. It's pending destruction for Esau Edom and his kingdom and his ways that he's been living by. This is Isaiah 47:12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries. The Lord's telling him to stand in that same shit you've been doing. All the lies and deceit, because that's what witchcraft is. Magic, all that shit. It's a covering cast. Ultimately, you would put this veil over these people and have them believing, a lie, believing a fairy tale. That you some type of civilized individual when you're the most uncivilized person walking this planet. So it says, stand now in thy enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shall be able to profit, if so be thou mayst prevail, man. Keep doing that same old shit you've been doing. All right? You've been getting it like that. Go ahead and get it like that, man. Because the Lord is coming back for judgment. Just for you, particularly for you. And that's the missiles, ICBM missiles. That's the chariots coming with the laser fire, and it's the lake of fire. And anybody who takes hold of Esau Edom's hand, the self-proclaimed white man's hand in all his ways, right? It's alphabet gang shit, his profane, idolatry, adulterous ways, murderous ways, man. You're gonna drink of that cup of judgment. This is Isaiah 47:13. It says, thou art wearied in the multitude of counsels, tired. All right, you wore out these individuals trying to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, watching these, nobody's believing in you. Nobody's trusting you and everything. What can we do? What can we do? Nah, it's over with. Yeah, all right. It says, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Okay? And that's the Lord taunting him again, telling him that all that left-hand side shit, is not going to help you. All those sacrifices, blood sacrifices, all that wickedness that you've been doing is not going to save you on that left-hand side. It says, Isaiah 47:14 says, behold, they shall be as stubble, and fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before, man. Total desolation, is coming to Babylon the Great, which is referred to in the scriptures as Babylon the Great. This is this place, America. That's what's coming to this place. It will be a total desolation due to all these other countries. You see bricks, and you see everybody getting together right now, shooting missiles upon this place. And the Spirit of the Lord is going to be inside those ICBM missiles, and they're going to hit everything that they seek out to hit. They just posted a news clip talking about how that submarine that's untraceable, untrackable, that has ICBM missiles on it, those quick ones is in the water. That submarine is in the water, just entered into the water. Don't know where it's at. And these things are soon to be manifested on the face of this earth, man. We only have a few more of these prophecies to be fulfilled. But we are at that tipping point, man. We are at the edge and at the end of this thing. That's a beautiful thing, because Scripture says he that endures to the end will be saved, man. And the men of the Lord are longing and hastening for that salvation, hastening for the destruction of this place. Because when this place is destroyed, that means we're going to be delivered, simultaneously. I'll read this one more time and get up out of here. It says, Isaiah 47:14, behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. And that's really pretty much the point. You won't be able to escape from your judgment, in these days in which we're approaching. So with that, perfectly just edifying to the body, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, the great millstone who taught us this truth and rule well. I want to give peace and blessings to the Akiyam, put it on as the elect. Shalom.